Hey there! Glad you found another episode of We've Read It One Night, your favorite chaotic sisters romance podcast. We're wrapping up our recap of A Court of Wings and Ruin in this episode, joining Feyre, Rhys, and the gang as they go toe-to-toe with the big bad King of Twinks himself, Hybern. But don't worry, nobody stays dead, and nobody but Nesta has trauma. Our happy ending is filled with the sounds of the prestigious Velaris Children's Laughing Chorus. Click that 5 stars if you like the episode, and enjoy the show.
So going back to what I already texted you last night, but just for the listeners, those of you outside the US probably know this, but you know how I took now you got into crochet again recently too.
I'm
But
never into crochet. I was a knitter. There's a difference.
No, I know. Well, you had that like one thing that you started that you like took back up or whatever. Anyway, I at first encountered this on like YouTube tutorials of like people with heavy English accents, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like English is their second language. They're probably just like they've seen this word written down and they're just like saying it how it looks. Like that's fine. The word being crotchet or crocheter instead of
Wrong.
crochet and crocheter. Well, and then I started seeing it on like TikTok videos of people who like clearly were speaking English as their first language and were even like Canadian, not even just like British. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like it's the influence of the British. It's like the lieutenant shit all over again. Crocheter.
It's just
I'm a crocheter.
wrong. Why do you have to make everything? They have to make everything gross. It's not enough for their food to be gross.
I haven't actually looked this up. Is crochet actually French? It must be, right? Like,
It must. There's no way that word's not fucking French.
or I mean, we could be wrong.
Crochet.
It's possible, but it just sounds
It's
so much
not.
worse.
It's actually not possible for us to be wrong. It's
Mm-mm.
Old Norse and then French and then
French. Okay.
crochet. Mid 19th century from French diminutive of croc, which means hook
Is
or
the
croche. I
is
don't
the like
fucking know how to
art
pronounce.
is the
What?
art of crochet like French? Like, did the French invent crochet? Is that even true, or did we just like use
Crochet
their word for it?
origin. I feel like crochet existed long before we called it crochet.
That's probably
Like
true. Almost
that,
certainly.
because crochet, the word came in. Google is telling me crochet, the word came into being in the mid 19th century. Mid 19th century was
hmm
absolutely not when
Okay,
crochet
so
as a
definitely Fire
skill was
precedes that.
invented.
Yeah, it's giving fishing
Yeah.
hook.
What do you
I'm fishing
mean? It's giving
netting, fishing
fishing
net.
hook.
Like that's what it like. I feel like fishing net. Like I feel like if I can, I'm sure it was used for a lot of things, but like I feel like it was definitely used to make fish nets. Like all the knots. Like look at this. This is a blanket, but it could be a fish net.
What? You mean like like fishnet
I'm just saying,
tights?
like, no, I mean like literal fishing nets when people used to
Yeah, I'm
fish, still
confused. What
fish.
do you think? Like, I feel like that was probably one of the OG uses
That's what I'm
of
saying. That's what
that
I'm
type
saying.
of fishing
And that,
net.
no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying crochet probably existed way before French people existed, or at least called themselves French people, you
Yeah,
know?
I guess I'm just not really understanding how you're making how you're connecting that to to like the name fishing net.
Fish nets, fish nets. I'm
Fishnets.
not connecting it to the name. I'm not connecting it to the name. I'm saying fishing nets are really old. So crochet probably
Yeah.
is really old. It seems like a great way to make fish nets.
Oh, I thought
I
you
guess they
were
could have
like
just been like
putting
tying
them.
them by hands.
They definitely, I feel like, tie them by hand.
Could go into the fishnet business. Why? It's so much faster to do
I don't
crochet.
know. I'm mostly thinking about tying it by hand specifically because I'm rereading the Hunger Games series. And I'm on Mockingjay right now. I'm really tearing through them. And
Oh, I
for
know. I just realized that I have a survival skill now, as long as I have some like thread and a hook.
yeah, but for the okay, well, let me finish my fishing related Hunger
Okay,
Games thing
sure,
and then
sure.
I'll expand. So first I'm on Mockingjay and Finnick is like recovering from trauma and he's like keeps like tying knots with this little rope that he has like as like a stim coping mechanism
hmm
whatever.
Sure.
And so I was saying Finnick probably knows how to weave a mean fish net like
Is
pretty
that his thing?
easily.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
because he's from like the sea district. District 4 is like the
Mm,
ocean one. So that he's like his like weapon of choice is a trident.
love it. Beautiful fish man.
But about the Hunger Games, for all the our audiobook aficionado listeners, there are two audiobook editions of the Hunger Games trilogy. And it's interesting to me that they didn't do something like this for Twilight. And I guess it's because they knew that Ileana Kadushin couldn't be topped. But basically, there's like the original, like when it was released, audiobook Hunger Games. And then they did a movie tie-in edition, but it's not Jennifer Lawrence narrating it. It's this actress named Tatiana something. I know she was in that show Orphan Black, where she played like 8 different characters. Oh, she was also in She-Hulk. I knew she was in something more recent. She played the
She-Hulk. That's really
She-Hulk. She
silly.
played She-Hulk on
What the fuck
Disney
is a
Plus.
She-Hulk? That's really
It's like the
silly.
Hulk, but a girl.
Absolutely.
And she's a
Right.
lawyer.
And they decided we could call it She-Hulk. Why not Shulk?
You're right.
So did you like my Yip Yap? I had to sew stuff for the inside. I made a little sack.
Oh, you made that? I thought that was just a picture you found online.
No, I made it. I know, doesn't it look really good?
Wow.
I know. I had to like poke holes in ping pong balls with an awl and everything. But anyway, yeah, I know. And I sewed the lining on the inside out of fabric and everything. I had to like measure and everything. It's crazy.
Wow.
I
Finally
know.
putting to use the skills they taught us in home ec
See, and
in
no,
middle
they really
school.
didn't. They didn't really didn't teach me any like, and they really should have. Like, I feel like I have had to hand sew before, like for brand. I don't know if I was ever like probably like Baba taught me or something. But in middle school, they jumped right to the sewing machine, and like honestly, wow, I can move myself around on the Zoom thing accidentally. But they really should have started by making us hand sew something like pretty big to like, give us like a true appreciation for what an innovation the sewing machine is,
For the
because
animation.
like, because the way that I think of sewing machines as like they're really annoying to use and like complicated and hard and like finicky, but
Yeah.
like they definitely are. Like if you set us up as like the comparison as having a hand sew like a giant seam or two,
Yeah.
and then you do it with the machine, like I'd have been willing to put up with a lot more of like thread getting tangled and like hitting metal pins and stuff.
I feel like no, okay, so first of all, what they should have done is hand sew, and then they should have like bumped us up to like the pedal powered sewing machine, like the OG
Mm.
like mechanical sewing machine, and then they like give us an electric
Mm.
one to like really show how good we've got it.
Yeah, and then like your fear
Yeah.
of like the hitting the pins is like totally wiped away by like your lack of foot soreness.
Exactly, exactly.
hmm
Shall we begin?
hmm
On A Court of Wings and
So,
Ruin, Part
part
3
three.
by Sarah J. Maas. This is a book that Rachel and I both finished approximately like 2 hours before this podcast.
Okay, so part three, Elaine hatches a harebrained scheme to go to her ex-boyfriend's house, who like hates fairies, to ask him to
Yeah.
protect the humans because she wants him to take her back.
This part is called High Lady, Part 3. This is like
hmm
actually Part 3 of the book. And it's called High
hmm
Lady. And I was like, so will Feyre finally do something? And the answer is no.
Well, I realized by the end of this, she does finally do something that like ostensibly you have to
But
be
she
highly
still
high.
spends like every single battle like standing on a hill just
Yeah,
watching.
and like why? Yeah, why?
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
why? Is that ever explained? Like I didn't know if I missed
I
something,
think
that there
it's
was like
because
some reason like
okay.
she's fragile.
Well,
She's
in the
never been trained
beginning,
in battle lines.
it's maybe because yeah, it's because she like isn't trained enough to like be in the thick of it. But then like half like before like the final battle or something, she's like talking to Reese and she's like, yeah, after watching it, like I'm not ready for like that kind of battle. Like I'm okay with like the fight for Velaris or
Right.
whatever because it's like spontaneous, but like and I was
Well, she
like,
says that,
okay.
but she says that like after she was already in the battle, you know. Maybe Sarah just didn't want to write that many battle scenes, which like respected. They are boring. She still does boldly write them, but like not from Ferris. She can write about other things too.
Thinking about Throne of Glass, literally 50 at least 50% of that book, if not more, is like battle scenes of Kingdom of Ash, the last
Right.
book. And they were entertaining. I was like, Sarah, I know that you can write a battle scene. Like, why isn't Feyre fighting? Like, I know you're good at this.
Yeah, there's just maybe she wanted to like write other things too, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah, she wanted to do a Mind TV. Feyre is just constantly hopping into different people's perspectives so that we can get there.
hmm
But I don't know. Did you notice this, Rachel, at the very beginning of this part, which once again I emphasize is called High Lady? They're at the Illyrian war camp. And
Hmm.
immediately Feyre is like we didn't want to push it with them. So the girls and I like fell back and let the men talk. Like, even though
Yeah,
I'm
I
the High
did.
Lady, we didn't want to push it. I
No,
was
I
like,
know. I know it just feels like unnecessary. It does make sense in story though. Like
no, I know, but I was like, okay. So that's the
I
answer to
just
my
like,
question.
does Reese have any of his own armies? Or is like why is he having to beg for like his subjects' armies, like from the Night Court and from the Illyrians?
Well, I don't think he has to beg the Illyrians. I think he just goes and he's like, move out. We're going.
Okay, so they like are his army, or does he have like any other armies that
Yes.
are like
And
made up
then
of
he
the High
also
Fae and
has the
normal
Dark
people?
Bringers.
Okay, because we like never, well, which are the Night Court, right?
Yeah. The Court of
Right. So
Nightmares.
like, yeah, but they don't, sorry, that's what I mean, the Court of Nightmares. But they like don't have to help him, which is wild.
Yes.
Does he have anyone else that's like actually his? Like it's kind of
Uh,
weird that like he,
he
yeah,
has
he has
more who he
that.
sends in when Cassian and Azrael have been taken. The powers
Like,
for truth.
like what? No, but like you know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of weird the Illyrians are just like they're the only like species that's like, I don't know, also expected to fight. Like, I don't know, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like where are the yeah. Are
I
the
don't,
children
well,
laughing in the streets because they're the only one whose parents don't have to go to battle? Like it's kind of weird. It's like he has like a
yes.
zoo of like happy people and like everyone else doesn't get to be happy. It's like the
It's
giver.
true. It's true. It's like he has like a little snow globe of Velaris, and then
Hmm.
everybody else is like
Hmm.
banging against the glass, like, please,
Hmm.
we're
Yeah.
starving. We're being tortured
And they're
out
like,
here.
sorry, we have to preserve this nice place.
The
Yeah.
children are laughing. Can't you hear?
Yeah. Too bad your children can't be laughing. Yeah.
For the greater good.
No, your children must cry so that these children can laugh
It's like Monsters Inc.
for the greater
He's
good.
like,
Yeah.
some of our system is powered by children's tears, so that the rest of it can be powered by children's laughter.
Wait, what?
Like Monsters Inc. The plot of Monsters Inc. is they have to scare
Well,
children
yeah.
to
Well, yeah,
power their
human
city.
children.
Yes, and then they discover at the end
No,
that
I
that
know.
it's actually laughter is
Yeah,
actually a lot
but
more powerful.
right. So they start the laughter.
Yeah, so
Well, yeah,
I'm
but
saying Reese is in the beginning of Monsters Inc. He's like, we power our
mm.
city with children's fear, but we disguise it by playing the laugh track, the child laugh track for the Velaris hidden speaker
Oh
system.
my God. I actually rewatched that recently. It really does hold up.
Monsters Inc.
Hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm. Well, you never know. I've been like badly surprised by a bunch of different movies, you know.
Yeah, but
Like
like
I didn't think I wasn't
Pixar
questioning it
movies?
actively. That's a good point. That's
Have
true.
you ever been, by a Pixar
I don't
movie?
think
I feel
so.
like
I don't
no.
think let down. I don't think so. But How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Tragique.
Oh, I always hated that movie, but that's just because
So you
Matthew
don't like Matthew
McConaughey
McConaughey.
is sweaty in it. He's in his sweaty self.
Peddling drugs. Okay. So we find ourselves in Elaine's asshole ex. Elaine is very stoic about the whole thing. She's like, it's already ended badly. Now we just have to see how we meet the consequences. Murmur.
When they go visit Grayson, they're like, Elaine, when you like we're gonna glamour you so you kind of look more human. So like to try to like smooth the way. And they're like, can you keep the vision stuff to yourself? Like, make sure you keep it to yourself, like when we're at his house. Like, can you do that? And she's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I was like, so you've just been making the choice to be
To be an
creepy?
asshole.
Like,
Yeah.
you've
No,
just chosen
seriously.
to be weird.
I mean, some of her stuff is useful. Like maybe,
Yes,
but
but
yeah,
she
I know.
doesn't
Like the stuff
even
about like Cassian
explain it.
dying.
She's just
I
says stuff like
know.
cryptically instead of being like, guys, I'm having a vision. Two ravens. Like, but like
Yeah.
like, so you could have not done that the whole time, and you
Mm.
chose not to.
Or at least done it a little more usefully. Though that's not clear. She could have. We find out that the asshole ex like not only hates fairies, he also hates Nesta, which is like so bold.
Red
Like, uh,
flag.
No, I know. Well, it's a red flag. Like, of course, I mean, the ex sucks, like, sure. But on Elaine's part, like, what is wrong with her? Like, she
Elaine
won't
has no
even, I don't know,
loyalty.
she just like sucks so much.
She
Yeah.
has no loyalty
Yeah, I know.
whatsoever. She does not give a shit. Nesta would literally die for her. Feyre has almost died for her on multiple occasions, and she would not do the same. Like no loyalty, absolutely not. If Grayson popped in the final battle and was like,
And
"Hello,
was like,
Elaine,
I'll take
come
you
with
back if
me
you,
again,"
if he was like, I'll take you back if you like, murder your sisters
yeah, she would.
at this
I
point.
have no
Like,
doubt.
I know,
But
it's
you
so
know
bold.
who is not a traitor? Jurian. Because if there's one thing this man knows how to do, it's make an entrance. It's make an
No one
entrance.
could
He
have seen coming.
never once does Sarah have this man enter in a normal way. It's always like they're talking and then like the door opens and in comes Jurian, like, it's me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're
Farrah is
all
like,
like,
I
oh my
can't.
God.
She's like, I can't I feel the world sliding out from beneath my feet. I can't wrap my head around this. Even though Jurian's literally just been like pulling a Reese. He's been doing what like Reese has been doing for no reason.
I've been
Except like there's a very clear motive for Jurian to be doing it, like
And he's like Reese, he's like, I swear to God, Reese, like I thought you were just gonna look into my mind and like see what was happening. And Reese, to be fair, was like, I didn't want to see Amarantha, which I was like, okay, fine.
is that
But I was
fair?
also
I
like,
don't know.
again, why are you assuming
Useless. Yeah.
why are you assuming that you are the only people who are capable of coming up with this relatively
I mean,
straightforward ploy?
to be fair, if I were Jurian, I'd be really fucking pissed that no one tried to help me with that eye situation for like the past 500 years. Like maybe they're
Yeah,
like, okay, fair. He hates us, fair. Like
fair enough.
it's just so bold. Yeah.
But even later in the battle, when Miriam and Draken show up, they get explicitly told that Jurian is on the good with the good guys. They're like, Jurian's on our
Right.
side. And yet, flash forward like two chapters, Feyre's like, you know, doing her sightseeing of the battle, and Miriam and Draken are fighting Jurian. I was like,
Oh,
there are
really?
real enemies to be
Wait,
had,
what?
and you
Oh.
fuckers are fighting, and more has to like come in and break things up. I was
Oh,
like, what?
I thought they hashed that out off screen, not like during the battle, like
It's
after the
just like a
battle.
paragraph. It's like a paragraph when Feyre's doing her little like over like flyover of the
Yeah.
battle
Oh. Why are they mad at him again?
because he was allegedly like hunting them to get
Well,
revenge because
allegedly, but
Miriam
did
is
he
his
ever, but
ex-girlfriend.
did that ever actually happen, or
No.
was it just like what they were told recently?
No.
Was that based in fact before? I feel like it
I
might have been.
think that like when Miriam broke up with him, he was upset, but I don't think he actually like I don't think he like tried to kill her when she broke up with him the first time. Like
Okay.
that's
It's giving like Tamlin arc.
is silly. It just seems silly.
Yeah, I don't know. It is really silly. So they're trying to convince like Grayson, Elaine's asshole ex, and his dad to like hide the humans, like finally convince them to do that.
Can I just say like his name is Grayson? Like
She
for
should
a
have
second
known.
there, I was kind of rooting for Elaine and Grayson. Like I knew that they were gonna end up
Really?
together, but I was just like, oh, I don't know. Like it'd be kind of interesting, like human fairy, whatever. And then I was
Would
like, oh,
it?
that's why I actually never want. Like there was like for a
Hmm.
second, I was like, Elaine can just go live with the humans with
And you
the
thought
only person that she's loyal to. We
And
don't
you
have
thought
to deal.
it was gonna be like, oh, I don't actually hate fairies. It's like my dad, asshole
No, I
dad.
thought he what I knew he was gonna like reject her and be like, I don't like fairies, but I forgot how much of a dick he was. Like I
No, it's
didn't
so
remember him
bold.
being this horrible.
Yeah, because he's like, I hate you. Like, I don't want your hurt. He's not even like, I'm sorry this happened to you. Like, I know you didn't want this. Look.
Yeah, and I was like, God, listen, of course. Of course, the only thing that's gonna put me in Elaine's corner is like uniting against a man who is an asshole. Like if there's anything that's gonna change me.
Yeah. Jurian tells them that Tamlin allegedly like went right back to Hybern after the High Lords meeting. So at this point, they think that Tamlin still like sucks or whatever.
But like once again, like no,
No
not a thought
investigation.
of like perchance he's spying.
Right. I don't know what, and that is really nice that no one ever thinks anyone else is spying on them. It makes the whole spy master thing a lot easier. That's how Azriel's been succeeding all these years. No one ever thinks that
Nobody's a
anyone
spy.
else could ever possibly be a spy. That's just like
They're so stupid.
so then
Now it's battle time.
they go to the fucking battle. Yeah. Just a few things here. Just like passing comments that Feyre's constantly making comments about how like they're making the soldiers do menial tasks to like avoid grumbling and boredom, which is really bold. Also, they like put the anti-Fabane thing in their gruel. Why are they feeding them gruel? Like that's really bold. What I
Because
don't know what that is. It
Illyrians
doesn't
are barely better than animals.
right. But like anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, the battle
Please,
happens.
sir, may I have some more? Gruel.
Feyre is like inexplicably sitting out. Maybe because she's like not trained to
Feyre,
fight in a battalion or
Feyre
whatever.
and more.
And more
Feyre More, the third in command of the Night Court,
is
and
babysitting
Feyre, the
Feyre.
High Lady, are
Is on
just sitting
babysitting
on a
JD.
hill
Right.
watching. And Feyre's like, "Oh, I'll paint this someday."
She got so many random times that Sarah's really committed to keeping the Sarah and Farrah rhyme. I just realized.
Uh,
Sarah's really committed to keeping the painting gimmick going. I don't think Farrah
yeah.
actually paints anything in this entire book, though. Thank God.
No, she does
She's just
eventually
constantly
open
like
up
storing things away. An
she
art
opens up
studio.
an art studio for like PTSD people. So like that's nice.
It is
She
nice.
teaches them
Nice
how to draw
recognition that
stick
people have
figures.
PTSD. Yeah.
Did you see that reel that
Yeah, I
someone
did.
sent?
Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite part of it is just the millennial S, the Superman S, just like all over. That would be me.
Sarah, it's for Velaris.
That's the most. There's two V's at the
Is that
top and
what?
bottom of the S. V for belong. She's like, actually,
Yeah.
look, it contains all the
It
letters of
starts with V's and it
Velaris.
ends in S, just like Velaris. Does it actually contain all the letters? That would be interesting. Maybe like a
Feyre would make
sideways.
an argument that it did.
I'd make
She
I
would
can
make the case.
I'd make an argument that it did. So they win this battle. And then
Ooh, which
Tarquin
wait,
fucking
yeah,
what?
okay, yeah. I was like,
I
we
was just
can't
thinking
skip over that.
a bunch of the soldiers surrender. And for some reason, Tarquin, our like homeboy, nice buddy, like alleged up until this point, like jolly golden retriever Tarquin is in charge of deciding what happens to the survivors.
Because they're at the summer court. They're on
Oh,
his
okay.
territory.
And he drowns them on dry land,
Which is so
which is
cool.
so what? I was gonna say it's so bold to be drowning prisoners of war. Like it's like talk about the like menial moat digging tasks and the gruel, but like I feel like nothing can be worse for your own soldiers. Like you're really screwing them over, your own grunts, if you like kill the other prisoners, because what's gonna happen to them? I guess it's like established that Hybern isn't nice to prisoners of war. I guess maybe they
Well,
started it, but like
that's the thing is that
it's really
if there's one
bold.
thing Sarah's gonna do, it's not give any nuance to enemy soldiers. Like they are
That's a
all
great point.
baddies and they all
That's
need to be killed.
she really does commit to that. There is constantly surprised
Yeah,
anytime they have like any level of like,
human
yeah,
like
humanity.
nuance,
Yeah.
like
She's like,
no.
wow, I didn't realize they could think. Yeah.
I thought this was cool, and maybe it's because Avatar: The Last Airbender is especially on my mind right now because the live action came out on Netflix,
Was it
which I
good?
haven't watched yet, but I've seen TikToks about it. But Tarquin drowning them was like it was like so bloodbending coded. And I was just like, that's why I thought it was so, I was like, it's
Mm.
so fucking metal. Like, that's so, like, drowning on
Mm.
dry land is literally the cool, like, Reese could
The
never.
cool that's okay, that's awful. It's my like greatest fear.
Reese, like,
I'm
mists people. He,
sorry,
like, makes them explode into little, like, particles
which
of
is
blood,
cool.
which is cool. But frankly, it's nowhere near as metal. Like, making people explode is, like, that's old hat. I could do that with a stick of dynamite. Drowning people
Mm,
on dry land,
that
that is
okay.
cool. It's fucked up, but it's
Clearly,
cool.
you've never like had the like intrusive thought spiral about dry drowning in your childhood.
No, Rachel, I'm just saying from a magic power standpoint,
I don't know. I feel like it makes him into a baddie.
it's
I'm waiting.
it's
I'm
fucking
anticipating.
cool.
I'm anticipating Tarquin's villain arc at this point. Like this is
No.
absolutely evil. This is evil Lord. Oh, mark my words. This is evil Overlord behavior. Tarquin is about to become an enemy.
No, no.
No, I'm sorry. You don't drown people on dry land and remain the good guy, the sunny sunshine
Not
summer
when
good
Reese
guy.
spent like a whole book being sad that he wouldn't be his friend.
Well, too
They're
bad,
finally
Reese.
friends.
Yeah, well, too bad. Anyway, yeah, it's just really bold to kill prisoners of war. There it has to be maybe there's some strategy part of that I'm not thinking of, but yeah. So okay, so next battle, Feyre and Moore are once again not fighting. I still don't know why. But
Wait,
Feyre's back
wait.
on what?
Sorry, before we get to the once again the hillside, I just want to point out that Nesta and Cassian do have a moment, and she only cares that he's safe. And when she sees him, she's the only one that knows that he's hurt. He's hurt and he's hiding it. And she's
Mm.
like, "You're hurt. Someone go get me a goddamn ice pack and some bandages." And then she bandages up and she's tending him, and it's very cute. And then it's ruined by more cockblock McGee over here runs in, and Cassian fucking takes his hand like immediately out of Nesta's and like goes to hang out with more. And so now Cassian's on my shit list. I was like,
Mm.
you and Nesta were having such a fucking tender moment. That is your mate. What are you doing going to hang out with the girl that you fucked 500 years ago?
Mm.
What is this?
Still talk about it as if it's like modern history. It's really silly. Like later on when more we'll get into that.
Exactly.
Yeah, very silly. Yeah. So battle number 2,
Yeah.
Feyre is back on her serial hunting bullshit. She like lies to Moore and says that Moore should
Moore
go
finally
fight.
goes
Moore
into
is
the battle when
literally
they're
Moore's
losing.
literally just there to like babysit Feyre, which is
Yeah.
really silly.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, time to go find the cereal again.
Gotta get the
And
tea.
yeah, but I don't need to trap it this time. Like now we're good. We're homies.
Wait, but she uses Elaine to help her find out where the cereal is so she can go right to it. And since when is that part of the seer power package? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what a random why the fuck can Elaine find the cereal?
I don't know.
It
She can
doesn't make any
see.
sense.
She don't question it. She can see things. And the cereal then like gives her answers without getting like any kind of like trap or gift or whatever.
Because the cereal's her
Um,
BFF.
yeah,
They're
it's
best
true.
friends.
It's true. Homegirls. And she's there to ask it where Hybern's army is hidden. And the cereal tells her that Nesta can find it.
Why? Why can Nesta find it, Rachel? Because
Like, cause to like
drink.
Drake, but like Bear is like shocked by this, even though like I don't know. I just feel like
They've
this was Sarah's
established it so many
gift. I
times.
know.
They can all. She's made, Nesta's made, all of the
Right.
made people can be doing. Maybe it's specifically because
The
Nesta took from the
cauldron. Or
cauldron.
because
So
Nesta
she
like made it.
specifically
Yeah.
has like cauldron juice in her, not just like
Mm-hmm.
regular magic
That's
juice.
great. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then it tells her that like the spell to stop the cauldron will like kill Farah if she does it by herself.
Which is so like also a big plot point in the Throne of Glass series. And I was like, Sarah, we just recycling the same thing.
All right,
Like
whatever.
someone's gotta
Respect. If it
die to like
works, if it
restore the
worked,
magical. She's
if it
like, you know
works
what? It
once.
got me on the New York Times bestseller list once and it's gonna do it again.
Exactly.
And she's right.
The cereal can't see Bryaxis, the like library monster, because
He's so
it's quote
cute.
not of this world. Yeah, but why can it see like the Ouroboros, the Weaver, Amarin, like all of these things are ostensibly not of this world either.
Wait, can it see the Weaver in the phone
Yeah, I
cover?
think so.
I don't
It
think
tells her about the
so.
Ouroboros, and I'm assuming that belongs to the Weaver.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know whether it belongs to the Weaver or whether she just liked it.
Yeah. So Ianthe fucking shows up with some ash arrows, and, like shoots the cereal, which is very
So
mean and cruel.
sad.
Why can't Farah just winnow away with the cereal? I guess she's like used up a lot of her power at this point, but like later on she can winnow. Like
She's constantly drained, and I don't understand because I'm like, what are you doing? She's
right.
constantly like collapsing, like flopping down on her bed at night and be like, I'm so wow. Oh my God, today drained me.
Drained me. I think
I'm
right
like,
before
what did you do?
right before this, didn't they weave like an illusion and make it look like their army was one place and
Oh yeah, I
when it was actually
guess.
another,
Okay, so maybe she did that.
which ends up being pointless, but whatever.
Yeah, so she did that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so so okay, so
sitting
let
on
this be a
that hill.
lesson.
Listen, as from a former lifeguard, it can be really draining to sit all day,
It's true.
actually doing nothing. Yeah.
It's true, yeah. So let this be a lesson to everyone. What do we do? Listen, this is what Tarquin taught us. What do we do, Rachel? Do we spare our enemies? No, we kill them so that they don't pop up at random times and
Like
kill our
daisies.
best skeleton friends.
Like in Kill
Like,
Bill.
if she just
Yeah.
killed Ianthe, none of this would have happened.
That's a great point, actually. So, yeah. So instead of winnowing away with the cereal, and which again, unclear, is there something about
Maybe because
ash that
she
you
has
can't like
ash
winnow?
arrows. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like because it has ash in her. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I decided the cereal is a girl. Like that seems right.
she
Um,
is.
so Feyre instead like runs down the forest. They're in the middle. We didn't say the middle, the like spooky forest in the middle of Prithian or whatever the fuck. And she leads them into the Weaver's cottage and like somehow shuts them in there without getting eaten by the Weaver first, which is unclear
Honestly,
how.
metal as fuck. Great for
Yeah.
her.
How did Feyre disguise herself the first time she went to the Weavers?
I think she just like slipped in and was like really quiet.
Okay. Interesting.
I think that's all you have to do. I think as long as you're like really quiet and you don't like touch any of her shit,
Oh,
she's kind of
okay.
like, oh, is there someone there? But like she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know. But like
Mm.
Ianthe was just like taught shit. For some reason,
Mm-hmm.
Ianthe doesn't know about the Weaver. Just seems
Mm.
sus. And so she's like shit talking outside the door.
Yeah, that is, yeah, Andy's been around the block for a while. It's very odd. Anyway, she shuts them in there with her, goes back to the cereal. She still can't fucking save the cereal. She's really sad.
Yeah, Sarah's got me crying over some spooky, scary skeleton. Like,
Is
what's
it the only one around? Is there no other cereal?
no, because the surreal is it's like a
Is the
it's what
title
it's the type of thing. It's like the type of being
right?
that it is.
Right. So
It's a
like,
surreal.
right.
So where are the
I don't
other
know.
surreals? Is it like the last dinosaur?
Mm. Maybe it's a title and there's only like one.
No, it's a
It's
sur
a
because in the beginning they
predator.
say you have to catch a surreal.
Oh, like Lucian says that.
But this specific surreal just really likes Feyre. So like
Yeah,
that
it's
it's
the
the
one that like shows
surreal.
up for her. Absolutely. Um, and the way that Ianthe found the cereal is like the last time Ianthe Ianthe caught it to ask it questions and then it wouldn't tell her answers, which I think was bold. So I thought it like had to do that. I thought that was like maybe Lucian like totally made that up.
Maybe it can be super cryptic. Like,
Mm,
like it
but
does it gets to decide how much like detail it
mhm.
gives you.
Okay. But she gave it a cloak with like a tracking spell on it, and Farrah's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And Cyriel's like, "No, don't. It's fine. It's cool. Like I knew the spell had a tracking thing on it, but I came anyway." And it's like, why? First of all, why? Because then that screws over Farrah too. Third of
Yeah.
all, second of all, Z, why didn't it just take off the fucking cloak?
It can't, I think, until it gets a new
Uh,
cloak.
oh,
Someone's got to
well,
give it a new cloak.
well, then why didn't it just like answer someone else's question in between that they didn't care about?
Rachel, how many people do you think are hunting down this spooky
I don't
skeleton
know.
like gossip queen?
It seems pretty useful.
Yeah, but apparently it tries to eat everybody but Feyre.
Oh, well, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, so Feyre gets back to camp and she's like, hey guys. And they're like, why the fuck did you not tell anyone where you were going? And they're all very
Which
mad at
is
her.
really bold. They all constantly are doing that. Helium guy finds her.
They blame Nesta too, but Nesta's not a snitch. Props to Nesta for not being a snitch. Nesta knew where Feyre was gonna go, but she's like, I'm
Hmm.
not gonna tell anyone. Fuck you
She's
guys.
loyal. Yeah,
Unlike Elaine, you know who would have told Elaine?
that's so true. Or maybe not because she'd just be too dumb. But like, Sarah would have like told her to tell, and she would have like forgotten.
She would just be like, spooky, scary skeletons shiver down my spine. They would be like, what?
We forgot to say that before the cereal dies. It's like leave this world a better place than you left it, than you found it, and like sing the High Lord. And Ferris like, oh, the cereal is a dreamer.
Oh.
I think that what's that song, The Dreamer?
You
I'm a
might
dreamer.
say I'm a dreamer.
I'm a
But I'm
dreamer.
not the only one.
Is that the tune of that song? That's the right
I
words.
think so. Isn't that John Lennon?
Sounds right.
It's like
Sounds
Believe or
right.
something. Yeah.
If
I don't know.
you just
No, no, no.
believe,
That's a completely different song. That's Josh
if you
Groban.
just
That's Christmas
believe.
classic got Josh Groban. Come on, Rachel, get with the fucking program.
Oh, it's time for Amber and Varian to reunite. Varian being Tarquin's BFF dude. And when they walk away, they quote are emitting noises unnervingly like purring.
Excellent.
Mm.
Wonderful. Um, and now it's time for Feyre to be a little bit homophobic, unknowingly, in that she heard Moore is like, "Why didn't you tell me you left?" And Feyre's like, "Why do you keep stringing along Asriel?" As if that is in any way like equivalent.
Well, and I still at this point, I totally forgot about like the later conversation. I still don't even understand like what is being alluded to between like Moore and Azrael and Cassian. Like I don't even get it. I guess she explains later on, but like I just like don't even know like what. Yeah, like it's really they just seem to be like living like 500-year-old drama.
For no reason.
Mm-mm.
Because everyone is afraid of hurting Asriel's feelings.
Right.
And it feels like a lot of problems could be solved if they
Right. Like
just
really
stopped doing that.
unnecessarily. Right. I
And
don't
also,
know.
how does Azriel not know the truth when he's got a magical emotional support sword called Truth Teller? Like, I don't understand. Do the
Hmm.
shadows not tell him the truth? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. Yeah.
Nesta
So
scries. She finds to find the cauldron.
yeah, Nesta scribes and finds out where the fucking army is or whatever. And then, but that means like that the cauldron can see her too for some reason.
Yeah, because Feyre pops up too, and the cauldron's like, "Girls, it's party time."
And like follows them back and it just tricks Elaine into following it
And why?
somehow
What does it do,
because
Rachel, to trick Elaine?
it makes her see like Grayson showing up and being like, "Come back, I'll turn you back into a
Yeah,
human."
immediate, no questions asked. This bitch immediately abandons her family, who
Mm-hmm.
has saved her life on numerous occasions, to
Mm-hmm.
walk into the woods with her bitch ass boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, and but the reason that she does this, and this doesn't make sense considering what the cauldron does later on, but apparently the reason the cauldron takes Elaine is because it like looked into Nesta's mind and it like
But it
saw
doesn't make
what
sense later. Yeah, I was gonna say that
saw what
too.
Nesta hated most. So like
Or
it
like loved
took,
most. Yeah.
yeah, or loved like what meant the most to Nesta. So like
Mm-hmm.
took, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but then it doesn't, yeah.
It doesn't make
So they're like,
sense.
we gotta rescue Elaine for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean I understand
Mm-hmm.
why they
So
rescue Elaine.
Farah pretends to be Ianthe by using her like dregs of her remaining reserves of power that for some reason are still dregs. And goes into the work camp and like
And she she's wearing a bunch of bracelets and she jangles them, quote, like a cat with a bell on its collar. To
just
like
like
for some reason
show that
that's how
Ianthe is like a
Ianthe
pet or
walks.
whatever. Yeah. She, of course, immediately sees like a human that she needs to rescue also and runs into Jurian and like they finagle, like finds out where Elaine's being hidden, like gets her like pretty easily, honestly. And then the hounds are upon them. Everyone has hounds in this book for some
Except that
reason.
these hounds are like the Naga,
Mhm.
but
But they
like
can like, yeah, they're like
cooler.
really good at tracking. But like Grayson and his dad have hounds too that like are somehow
Yeah.
trained to hunt hair fairies. Unclear how.
Yeah, so they rescue Elaine and they get the girl.
But you're skipping Tamlin comes to the rescue.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you mean so they rescue? You mean they're still on their way out of camp? You
They're
mean?
on their way out. The girl, by the way, is named Briar, and I was like, wow, what a deep Beauty and the Beast cut, Sarah.
Mm,
Like, what a real callback, tying everything together
yeah.
here.
We ever hear from her again?
No. But there's a lot of fan theories about her.
What do you mean?
Like, there's fan theories that she's because there's like a character in Throne of Glass that's named Briar. And they're like, Sarah would never reuse names. And the character in Throne of Glass is like one of the witches. And like, so
Mm,
they think that this random human is a witch, but also like, how the fuck, you know what I mean? It's like, what happens to her? She goes to the Winter
mm.
Court. This girl goes to the Winter Court, and then we never see
Unclear
her again.
why. Yeah.
Yeah, because they have fluffy animals.
Yeah. And I think it's okay. Okay. So when Vera sees her, she's like strung up between like two of her dead friends and they're
Yeah,
like cut up and shit the way that Claire better, you know, the like horrible way
yeah, yeah,
that the Hybern does. But then like once they rescue her, she's able to like walk around and like offer to help heal and stuff.
yeah.
So like yeah, I don't know, unclear. Is it more like she's crucified without any actual wounds, but like she's gonna die from like asphyxiation once
I
her lungs like
guess. Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
don't
make
know.
any sense.
Um
But so yeah, Beast Boy
yeah.
Tamlin helps them escape.
So yeah, which is nice of him. And then he escapes, absconds into the night.
Beast Boy Tamlin's something. Feyre has to fly. They gotta jump off a cliff in order to like winnow in midair, and Feyre's gotta fucking fly. So
Mm.
she flies, and literally, this is just so like Tamlin sends like a wind after her to like help her, and it's so like
Mm.
she jumps like I believe I can
It
fly.
actually,
Like
well, it's like in A Bug's Life when he jumps off the cliff of Ant Island, flying off on his pedal to like I forget why, but
I only vaguely
and
remember
the
that.
bird at the oh yeah, like at the well, yeah, I watched it kind of recently, and when the bird is like chasing
Why?
them, I don't know why not.
I don't know. You keep rewatching all these like
Why
random
did you
like
watch the Princess and the Frog?
I haven't watched it
Just like you're
recently.
watching
It's
Princess and
just
the Frog
such a good
apparently.
movie. I haven't watched it recently. I haven't watched it probably since college. It's
Maybe you
just really
should.
stuck in my mind.
I believe. Anyway,
I got hit by the ice cream
so then
guy.
more. Okay.
All I wanted
Uh-huh.
was a
Na, 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 every
popsicle.
night and
I
day.
ended up in the
He said,
hospital.
"Fuck you." So
Anyway.
Moore is so shaken up by Farrah's, near latest brush with death that she's like comes up to her and she's like, "I'm sorry, like I shouldn't have yelled at you, blah blah. My gift is truth, but I've been living a lie." And that lie is that she likes girls. She doesn't like Azriel that way at all. And instead of just telling him that, she's like has this convoluted scheme of like sometimes sleeping with men just to like, which is kind of like this is really like
This
for
is giving,
500
you know
years.
what it's giving? Like, I understand, but
What?
it's giving the Kristen Stewart Christmas movie. It's giving the shitty girlfriend in the Kristen
Yeah.
Stewart Christmas movie, is what it's
Uh,
giving.
wait, why?
Just
What is
like
it?
in terms of like, instead of just telling people that you care about, like, you're
Right.
just being a fucking cunt.
Right. Right. Like I don't understand. Like this it seems I don't know. I'm sorry. Like as far as resolutions to like again, unclear of Azriel, like after all of this, like he should have like he shouldn't have been like pining making her uncomfortable all these years. But like as far as resolutions to like why someone's not into you, I feel like telling him like, yeah, I'm just like not really into dudes, like that's like the kind of nicest thing that like you know what I mean? That's like the least
Yeah.
personally hurtful way to do
Yeah.
it. Or not, you know what I mean? Not that he even should be
Yeah.
hurt by her just being like, I'm not attracted to you, but like,
Yeah. But there's
I don't
also like
know.
fairy homophobia and like when she
Well,
like grew up. So I guess she
she doesn't
doesn't want
want
anyone
anyone
to
to
know.
know, but like, does she really not think that Azriel can keep a secret? Azriel like is the king of secrets. Like, I'm sorry, he would have been able
Yeah.
to deal with that. Like, he wouldn't have been telling people. Like, I
Yeah.
believe that he would have not, at least not intentionally. Like, I don't think he would have been a dick enough to do it on purpose, and he wouldn't have done it
Yeah.
unintentionally.
So at the end of the day, like in that whole scenario, like Azriel is the problem because
For
like
sure,
even
but
if she doesn't outright say I'm not into you, after 500 years of it being incredibly obvious, you need to just take the hint
right,
and stop
right.
being a creep. But more is gay. More importantly, Rachel,
Her gift is truth.
the truth is that the Winter Court does have armored polar bears. They do have polar bears
Mm.
in their army. We don't get confirmation. They don't ride them necessarily, but the polar bears are there and they do wear armor and they do look very smart that Feyre would not be surprised if they could talk. So I'm so happy that Sarah did not fail me on that front.
And that is important.
That is very important. And then they winnow all the
Oh
humans out of
yeah.
danger.
Yeah, they do. And like and at first like they're like, oh yeah, the first family like we were able to convince them and like whatever. But the second family like Reese tried to sue them, but they just like were so hysterical that we just had to like winnow them against their will. Like, I'm sorry, what is Reese's like yeah, what exactly is Reese's mind power? He can apparently like mind control people, but he can't like soothe a bunch of humans. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't understand.
Like whatever.
Also, like, does consent really matter when you're saving them from a guy that's like trying to blow up the countryside?
Right. Yeah.
Just don't waste time. You're wasting
I
time.
know. Yeah, like I don't know, unclear. So then it's like their last night together, TM, but Farrah decides it's time to finally go get the Aurora Boros because like she wants to have not just Bryaxis, the library monster, but also the bone carver. And
Yes.
so she goes and she has her Mirror of Erised moment. Oh, because what the Ouroboros shows you is like what you truly are, and what she is like a snake panther thing.
Beast. I frankly, in my head, it's always the exact same beast form as Tamlin. Like that's just my
Oh,
imagine.
really? I was
I
picturing
know
like a Black
that's
Panther.
definitely not what it's supposed to be, but in my
Hmm.
head, like there's like this one specific fan art of
Mm.
Tamlin in his beast form, and I just picture that anytime there's like a weird beast that like I don't really know what it is.
See,
It's
now I'm just
that.
picturing like a black like jaguar thing with like scale, like almost like armored scales on its back, and like maybe a little like
Yeah.
scorpion tail, snake tail.
But once again, I was like, look, a friend. Like,
Yeah.
why would this drive her mad? It's a friend.
Well, right. Right. I know. Like yeah, I don't, and she's like apparently the only person ever to be able to look at this without going insane. And then
It
she
just
gives
doesn't make any sense.
it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. And she gives it, and now she's able to like summon it at will, which is kind of cool. Like honestly, she should be using
Which
this to
is what
like,
Nesta can do with like the Dread Trove later on. It's
oh.
like
Well,
hers.
and I just feel like she could have been using this mirror. Like I guess she gives it to the bone carver. I don't know, unclear if she can still summon it or if he gets to keep it then, but like shouldn't she could have been using this as like a weapon. Like if it really makes
But
people go
like what
insane.
does
Like
it use?
show
Right. But
this to your
like
enemies.
yeah, what does it do besides show you a beastie form?
That's it. And like the Weaver used to look into it and not go crazy. Like I said, she would be like all
Maybe
powerful.
that's why she eats people.
Maybe. I think she was always like that.
Yeah, so she brings in the bone carver, and the bone carver is like, "Oh, I don't need this. I just wanted to see if you were worthy." And she gets so angry, and I was like, "Listen,
It's the same shit that Reese did to you.
it's fair. Like that's fair
To what? It's fair that he did it.
that he asked for that. Yeah, that he is like,
Well,
this is
it's
my
also the
price.
same shit that Reese did with the ring and the
Yeah,
Weaver.
yeah,
Yeah. So now they're like facing the army. It's actually really bold. I realized that like Hybern's army is allegedly ostensibly stronger than like all five of the High Lords and their armies. How many High Lords are there
yeah.
total? Like seven?
How fucking big is Hybern? Because Hybern's an island.
Right.
So how fucking big is it?
I guess they don't like hide some of their children and let them laugh. They all have to be so soldiers. That's what it takes.
That wait, that
True
is how
commitment.
Velaris makes its money, right? So like it's a prospering like trade city because it's got a port. It exports laugh tracks because nobody else has them.
Yeah, what's the explanation for Velaris being a port city and still staying hidden? Do they just think it's
I
coming from
think
like the Night
like
Court?
I think people are just I think people like forget where they got it, like the
Hmm.
details. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. Bold.
I don't
But
know.
they like could stay if they wanted.
I guess. Yeah. Azrael gives Elaine his emotional support knife, truth teller. He's like, here, this is for you.
Hmm.
You're not going to do anything with this. You're just going to sit on this hill, but you can hold this. It
Mm.
brings me comfort when I cuddle with it at night.
Which is really silly. Also, yeah, then so like Bryaxis and the Carver show up as expected, but then also the Weaver shows up because Reese like secretly to Feyre
Yeah.
like had them go get her. And Bryaxis and the Carver's also a surprise to Reese. Like, why are they constantly? Is it just? I guess it's like a narrative device, but like you could make it seem like
Yeah.
Reese, so we don't know. But like, why are they like doing this secretly? Like, why are they
Why do they
keeping this
keep doing
shit?
this to each other? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
this
It
keeps
makes it
like not,
impossible to plan. Is it because they're worried that like they need the motivation? Like everyone's got to
I
keep the
don't
terror or
know.
they won't like try as hard. Like I don't know. It's just like
It doesn't make any sense.
no.
It doesn't make any sense. Also, Amryn has to wear child-sized armor.
Which is really silly. I didn't realize she was supposed to be that small. But, like, why is she so that
Why are they
small?
making armor for children?
Right. Well, yeah, it comes from Hybern where the children are
It comes from the ones that
the land of child
don't get
soldiers.
recruited. They don't make it into the like elite laugh track corps.
Right. So now like Feyre and Amryn are off to go like try. So the original scheme, as I understood it, was that all four of them like Nesta, Feyre, Elaine, and Amryn were gonna go like touch the cauldron and disable it together because it would take all four of them, so
Yeah.
that none of them would go insane. But then for some reason that scheme is out the window and only Feyre and Amryn are heading off. Like what happens there?
I think it's because so Hybern's using the cauldron to just zap a bunch of the army, and the
Hmm.
bone carver dies, and that's very sad.
Hmm.
And the Weaver, who is his sister, is upset about it. But
Hmm.
so basically they're like, shit, we have to distract Hybern because he's like using the cauldron. We have to get him like away from the cauldron.
Hmm.
And so Nesta's like, I'm gonna go basically stand on a faraway hill and go nanny nanny boo boo to the
Hmm.
Hybern, and then he's gonna come after me.
Hmm.
And then Feyre and Amryn are gonna like disable
What's
the
Elaine?
cauldron.
What's Elaine gonna do? Just see?
She's gonna hold truth telling. That's what she's gonna do.
Because Azriel's not allowed to fight. Also, we didn't say because his
Oh
like
yeah,
wings
because
got
he got
touched the last
injured
time for some
rescuing.
reason.
Yeah,
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. See, the wings always
yeah,
seem like kind of a liability. Like they're constantly getting
yeah,
arrows put through them. They're a huge target. Literally,
yeah.
literal a giant target on your
They are
back.
literally a giant target. They like
Yeah,
increased your target space by like
your air surface
double.
area. Yeah.
Yeah. But before Aaron and Farah hang out, go off, Miriam and Draken appear. And they're like, sorry, guys. Our little Velaris spell worked too well. And you guys all thought that we weren't on the island, but we were. But don't worry, we showed
Mm.
up. And guess who we brought Lucian and Phoenix Queen Vasa. And we also brought Papa Archer on. And Papa Archer
Oh,
on brought a bunch of ships, and he named the biggest three after his daughters. And he's riding on the Nesta.
oh, the lead ship.
I was like, that's cute. A little
Mm-hmm.
late, but he's got the
Mm-hmm.
spirit.
Yeah. So Amryn and Ferris are on their way, and they're like hiding behind a rock when they see the king just like walk up to the Weaver and snap her neck. Which, like, how is he able to do that?
Insane.
Is that
How the fuck can he do
explained?
that?
I
He
don't
does
know.
it. Well, Farrah's like, maybe he snaps her neck, and then Farrah's like, I don't think that would have killed her, but then he throws her down to his hounds,
Well,
and then his
sure.
hounds like eat her up.
Well, that doesn't explain anything. Like, why is he able to do that?
I don't know. I think he's just really fast. He's
And
incredibly
strong
fast
and
and strong.
strong. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. How does
He
he keep
just
doing
does
this
it.
shit? I don't
It's sad.
know.
Maybe she's like, my dear brother
Just
is
he's
dead,
bad, I
and
guess.
now I'm
Who was like
sad.
scared of her
My dear brother, who I did not know was still alive until just now,
because he was literally hiding from
is
me in
dead.
prison, right? Like she had a nice
Yeah.
cottage. I don't know. Anyway, they get to the cauldron, and for some reason, Farah thinks that Amryn has like ostensibly betrayed them. And I'm still not sure why on this like second reading. I didn't understand the first time why she's immediately like, oh, Amryn betrayed us. Like, I don't know what Amryn
Because
does.
Amryn doesn't touch the cauldron. Like they're all supposed to touch the cauldron together and start doing the spell, and then Feyre touches it and gets like
Oh,
stuck to it, and Amryn is like, nah, I'm good. And
mm,
then Feyre gets sucked into the cauldron, and we have our little like TV
Zoom.
time with Feyre. Let's see what's going. Let's catch up
Yeah.
with the rest of the gang, and we get a little like drive by of all these different scenes going
Yeah.
on in the battle.
We.
Wee, wee, and that's when we see Draken and Miriam fighting for some reason. Like they're still losing, and Miriam and Draken are just wasting time fighting Jurian for no fucking reason. Also, the fact that it takes both of them to fight Jurian, like both of them are fighting Jurian. This man who is
Shurian's
a
literally
human, like he came back to life, but he's still a human. And these are like immortal
right.
beings.
Well, he's immortal now, isn't he? Is he
I
not
don't know.
immortal?
I think he's still human. I have no
Bold.
idea. Like it's
You're
very
sure this
bold.
happens during this scene?
Yes,
That's a lot of audacity.
they do it. But yeah, so Farron's hanging out. She goes to see what's going on with Nesta, and Hybern pops up, and he's like, "There you are, Nesta." And Nesta has really bad aim, I guess, because like she like zaps her power at him, but it like misses or something. I don't know. I kind of miss
Mm-hmm.
that. He's also holding Papa Archer on like hostage,
Mm-hmm.
so that's like a human shield. And then Papa Archeron apologizes to Nesta. He's like, "Sorry, I was such a shit father in every possible way." And then Hybern snaps his neck, which is very traumatic
Right, out of
for everyone
nowhere. Yeah,
involved.
I don't know why he does that.
I think
That's kind of
that's why
he
Nesta
loses his shield. That's why
let me
Nesta what?
see. Or no. I don't know, that like drains her of her power. And then
Well, no,
Cassian
no.
like
She pretends to. I thought she pretends to be drained because Farrah's like, oh no, like her light's
she
gone out.
loses heart and then Cassian starts fighting, and then when she sees like Cassian about to go down, she like runs up to like throw herself over him, and then she pretends that she's like out of power to like draw Hybern closer, and then she like zaps
Yeah.
him with like
Yeah.
the rest of her power because she
Mhm.
used most of it that time that she missed.
Mm. Absolutely. And then Elaine walks up and truly in the shock of it, like no one saw this coming. She uses the fucking knife to stab
Emotional
him.
support sword.
Which, like, I don't know. This, I mean, sure, I guess I can like suspend disbelief and think that Elaine could like sneak up on him. But like, this is like at least the element of surprise. Like, how is the king like constantly snapping people's necks, like literally walking right up to them and just casually snapping their necks so fast? I don't know.
I
I
don't.
just don't know how you did it to the Weaver, who's able to like, obliterate hundreds of soldiers at
Yeah.
a time.
Yeah, I don't. The King of Hybern is just so like I feel like we just like never really get a full
What he
understanding. Like
is.
we're supposed to believe his power, his like
He's so
he's
powerful.
so dangerous because he has his little spell book, but like he's doing all these things that are not spell book related,
Maybe he used the spells to give himself like
make
superpower. I
himself
don't know.
incredibly fast and
And
strong.
strong.
He actually he summoned Carlisle Cullen from a different universe and got him to change all of his.
He's a Twilight vampire slash fairy slash angel.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, Elaine stabs Hybern in the neck. And honestly, good for you, Elaine. I can support this. First thing.
Can we just say that Elaine has like zero trauma about this afterward? Like, because literally is so good at like dehuman and not, she is the true psychopath. She does
She
not, you know what I
truly
mean? Like,
is.
no
She
humanity.
feels nothing for no one but herself.
Exactly.
And Nesta finishes the job by chopping off his head. And Nesta chops off his head by like twisting the knife until like his head pops off, which honestly iconic.
Yeah.
And Feyre and the Cauldron are hanging out there, and the Cauldron came over here because he wanted to like kill Nesta and like take back its
Get the
power.
power back.
But then it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, my best friend Elaine loves
Right.
Nesta. I can't kill Nesta
Oh
because my best friend
God.
Elaine would
Yeah,
be sad.
because Elaine
What?
likes her. Yeah, because she's so lovely. TM. Yeah, like what? And also, yeah, inconsistent with the whole stealing Elaine thing.
Why did you kidnap Elaine? Well, maybe because the Cauldron doesn't have like a sense of like Hybern bad, other people good. The Cauldron is like these
Mm,
are all plebs. So like it doesn't have the idea of like
mm.
I'm kidnapping Elaine.
To something bad. It's just I'm taking her away from Nesta,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Nesta is bad. Okay,
Yes.
because Nesta like stole from me, but it gave Elaine a gift. Like it's so like yeah. I just what is Elaine is really giving like if she was a Twilight vampire, it would be like Renee who
Oh my
like
God.
there's like
She's an
the
emotional vampire.
or yeah or she has like she can like control people with her, you know what I mean, like they just like want to help her because her
Yeah.
thoughts are screaming so loud for no reason other reason.
I need evidence. Like I keep getting these pangs of like is it internalized misogyny that makes me hate Elaine so much? But it's not. It's just she's a fake hoe. And that's what those are the characters I don't like. I can't respect the characters that are fake hoes and like that we just get told they're like this, but you never see anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's internalized misogyny. She's not even like
Well, that's what
particularly,
a
I don't
lot of
know.
people's argument is. A lot of people are like, people don't like Elaine because she's just feminine and soft and she gardens and she's kind and she's not like this badass like female warrior. I'm like, no, I don't like her because she sucks and has no loyalty.
Yeah, I don't understand. That's silly. Because yeah, it's fine to garden. It's like, why are you gardening? Why are you growing like inedible flowers? Dude, for your starving family. There's also some line earlier on, Farrah's like thinking, I think when they're like realize Elaine's been kidnapped and she's like, oh my God, like, and Elaine is so sweet. Like she, back when we didn't have any money for food
Oh
and
yeah.
I was earning all our money and I wouldn't spend anything on myself on like frivolous things, but Elaine would. Elaine would spend my money that I risked my life to get on buying me a paint set. Isn't she sweet? Like,
And I mean, listen, that is nice, but yeah, once again, like you guys are starving and you didn't earn that money, Elaine.
Right. It's like she's right.
Like it'd be one thing if it was like that whole if it was like that like story where like the woman cuts off her hair to buy her husband a watch
Hmm.
chain and the husband like sells his watch to like buy his wife a comb for her hair and like the lesson is that they just both love each
Right.
other.
You know, I told someone that story the other day and they had never heard it. Isn't
That's
that
insane. Do
funny?
you know how I
That is
first heard that
insane.
story? In the fourth
I was
grade.
gonna say, I'm pretty sure in
My
school.
fourth grade teacher, no, but it was
Yeah.
specific to me because I was a big reader. And my fourth grade teacher, like sometime around Christmas, was like, I think, like, here's this book that I think you'll like of these like stories. And it was like that story and like some other stuff, like
I
the
remember.
Christmas
No, I'm pretty
Carol.
sure.
But it
Yeah.
was just for me. It wasn't for anyone else. Like she was just like, I think you'll like this. It's like a little like you're a reader.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I had teachers do that. The worst one was in like sixth or seventh grade. So like I was like 11 or 12.
The
Like
lottery.
11. No, that was required reading. Awful. No, it was like I was like 11 and my teacher was like, you should read this book. Like it's so good. You'll love it. And it was, yeah, I'm blanking on the name now, but the plot is like this girl gets raped and then is really depressed for the rest of high school
Oh,
and
the
tries to kill
Kristen Stewart
herself.
was in the movie. It's like called like
Yes.
Silent or
Oh
something.
God, what is it called? Stitch or something. Yeah, it's like, but anyway, I did not love it. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Speak.
speak.
Speak is the name.
Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe thinking back, maybe that would have been appropriate for your average 11-year-old. Maybe I was just like behind, but it took me so long to even realize that she had been raped. I was like, what is wrong with her? Like this, I can
Exactly.
tell from the vibes. This is really uncomfortable and like awful, and I'm traumatized, but I don't really know why. Like,
It definitely was a why because I read that in middle school. I read that in like seventh grade.
yeah.
And it was like from my middle school like reading teacher's library,
Yeah,
like
same.
class
But she was
library.
specifically, yeah, I'm pretty sure same, but she was specifically like, you'll like this book. Like,
Insane. I mean, it did just look it up. It did win like children's
no, I
literature
guess
awards, I
that's true.
guess.
I don't know. I was just like, seems really traumatic.
It's by the
I
same
don't.
author that wrote that book. It's like Fever 1793 or
Oh,
something about like
really? And
yellow fever. Laurie Halse Anderson.
she wrote a bunch of stuff. Oh, I did fuck with that one.
Yeah.
Fever 97,
Yeah.
7083 or whatever was that really hit. I should reread that. I don't remember much about it, but it was really
Yeah,
great.
she wrote a shit ton.
Yeah. That's not
Winter
a knock to the
World.
author. I'm sure it's like a fine book. It just what else? She wrote something else really famous, but like she looks exactly like
How
she
you
looks
would picture
exactly
she
like
looks. She looks like an English
yeah,
teacher or like an English
that's rare.
professor.
English teacher. She looks like Phoebe Buffay when she has blonde hair.
Okay. Like Laurie Halse Anderson should embrace her true form of Phoebe Buffay, Amryn decides to embrace her true form of a biblical angel, basically. And she like jumps into the cauldron to take a little bath, and she's like, I'm gonna kill everyone. But also for some reason, that means that I'm gonna die. Like for some reason, transforming back
Because
into her
it's
true form also
yeah,
kills her. I don't know why.
yeah, because like it uses up all her power or something.
I don't know, but she goes ham on the battlefield and she just like wipes everybody out, trail of destruction. And then, yeah, and then she just like pitters out. I was like, I could understand if this meant that like she couldn't go back to her like Fey form and like the Fey form has to die. But why does her just going back to her true self kill her? I do not understand.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I none of this makes any sense because like self-sacrifice TM
Except that
unclear.
it's not actually because nobody dies. Nobody dies. A lot of people fake die. So Amryn does that, and
Yeah,
then Rhys comes
a lot
up
of the
to
grunts
help
die.
Feyre like destroy the cauldron, and they're like destroying it, and he's like, "I love you." And then, I mean, not destroy the cauldron. They can't destroy the cauldron
Mhm.
because they destroy the cauldron, and then they're like, "Oopsie, destroying the cauldron
Uh,
destroys the world. We have to put it back together." So they put it
right.
back together, and Rhys and somebody has to die, which we learned from the serial to like put the cauldron back together. And Rhys boy sacrifices himself. The serial told her that.
Did we? Well, he told her that if Feyre did it by herself to destroy it, it would kill her. But that's why they were gonna do it with like four of them, which is still unclear why they don't. Like, why can't Nesta and Elaine help? I don't know.
Maybe because Feyre and Rhys are so drained. They're both like dregs of their power. So like they gotta take everything.
Right. And yeah, and then like so yeah, Reese like dies TM and Farah is again shocked. She's like, I didn't realize his power was so drained. And I was like, really? Like you're so, like no one ever thinks that anyone's spying on them. No one ever thinks that Reese is gonna self-sacrifice despite all evidence to the contrary. Like he's on this
That's
always on
his
this
whole
self-sacrificing bullshit.
personality.
Like there's two things that are true. Farah's gonna find this fucking cereal and Reese is gonna self-sacrifice. She's like, oh my God, he had his shields up. I didn't know, but like you knew that he was drained. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
It's so silly. It's so silly. But she immediately is like, hey, use the cheat code to bring people back to life.
Right. And like all the High Lords gather, she like bullies them to doing it. And like they could really be doing this for anyone. Like Reese doesn't even take their power the way that Feyre does.
Yes, why doesn't he? This is what I would like to know. So I had two questions. First, I was like, is there like a new High Lord? And then I remembered that there is High Lady.
Right. This is the first time, like first and only time she ever does something like actually, proving that she has that means that title means
The magic
anything.
would not need to automatically go to someone else because like she's already High Lady. So I guess she gets like all of the
Oh,
juice temper. That's
oh,
what I'm
I
saying.
get
Because
what.
it's we know that it's instantaneous from when like Rhys and
Mm,
Tamlin are talking about when they became High Lord.
mm.
So like so at first I was like, wait, did some like random pleb in like one of the children of Velaris like
Mm.
suddenly like power up only to get it
Or
like
probably like
zapped out of them?
someone, would it be
But
like
no,
someone in the night
because
court?
she's the High Lady, so it didn't. It didn't reassign
So it
because
actually worked. So that's like the first evidence we get that of it being
yeah,
anything other than like Reese saying yeah, Reese
yeah,
blathering.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I was like, why doesn't he get some of their power? Because he specifically is like, don't worry, guys, ha ha ha, like when he comes back to life. I didn't take
Right.
any of your power.
Right.
And
And
like,
like, cause
why?
that would have been a really smart limit of Sarah I mean, that was like a smart limit of her to put on it. Cause like that would answer the question, like, why can't they be doing this left and right for like anyone who
Yeah, left,
dies?
right, and center.
Because if they lose some of their power every time, like, and eventually they would lose it all and be dead. So that makes sense why
Yeah.
they would like want to conserve it. But apparently that's not true.
They were like,
They
we can't
do,
kill
they
Reese.
are like, it's different because they're like, it was different for you, Pharaoh, because you were human. Like when they're trying to get out of doing it for Reese originally. And
Yeah. But she bullies them all into doing it. And there's no consequences whatsoever at all. And guess what? Because no one's allowed to die, Amryn comes back too. Reese is like,
right,
hey, I brought someone else back with me.
right. Like unclear. Yeah, I don't, maybe she meant like, yeah, I don't know. Unclear how she came back, but also like maybe originally she meant metaphorically die because she was just gonna like be
No,
gone
because
to
it was
them.
the same thing as I mean, what happens with Reese too is that Feyre's like holding on to like the scraps of the mating bond to like stop him from
But
leaving
I thought she
totally or
can't feel
whatever.
it at all.
But she like grabs hold. She's like, I'm grabbing hold of like all the tidbits that are left. But what Reese said, Reese is like, I guess was at the gates of heaven and like I saw Amryn and then like you guys were bringing me back to life and I was like, Amryn, want to come too? And so
Hmm.
Amryn came too and went back
Uh,
into her fairy body that was just in the bathtub cauldron this
that
whole time.
is so
Like,
silly.
so nobody can die. And listen, like, I do appreciate that Sarah is not someone that just kills off all of her characters. Like, I appreciate that she is like, no, I want my books to have happy endings. And that means that no major character can die ever. But I feel like Amryn would have been a good character to just kill off.
Or like have disappear into the ether, like go back to where she
Yeah.
came from,
Like I feel
go
like
back to
that
her
would
like
have
home
been
planet or whatever.
an okay
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Hmm.
Because I was like, nobody died? Really? We're gonna bring everyone back to
I
life.
guess she needed her for her like Nesta arc.
But like, did she? Yeah. So anyway, they're good. Tampon gives his magic power to bring Reese back to life. And he's
And
like,
it's
be
like, be
happy,
happy,
Feyre.
TM.
And I was like, oh, you are still an abusive piece of shit, but like that's
Hmm.
sad.
He's getting his arc, yeah. Oh, and the more coming out thing made me remember that apparently that we're not getting a Reese and Aries more setup, which is sad also. I was looking forward to that.
Oh, what?
I remember earlier in this book when Aries was like around, and I was like, oh yeah, like they're so hardcore alluding to him like having pulled a Reese this whole time,
Oh yeah.
even though no one can see it coming. And I was like thinking, I was like, maybe I was thinking this. I think I was thinking like, oh, maybe him and more. Like I want that to happen. Like that would be a good like
Oh no.
for all these years. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's like there was more things at play than like what you know, like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't
That
know.
seemed that it was more things at play than what more knew too.
Well, right. That's what I
So
mean.
like it couldn't have been. I mean, I still think we're getting the Eris redemption arc.
Yeah. What do you mean? It couldn't have been what?
So it couldn't have been more sexuality because
Oh, that's not. No,
Eris
that's not
wouldn't
what I
know.
thought. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh.
I'm saying like there he had like reasons for not helping her or whatever. Like, or I don't know. And like so there could have been like something forgivable and yeah.
I mean, I thought it was obvious. Like he can't take take her because if he does, then it's like he has to take responsibility of her. Like that's just
Mm, yeah, I don't know. Or like why
I
he's such
don't
an
know
asshole. I don't know.
because he's doing this in yeah.
Because he
Anyway,
said that, but then he also said like other stuff. I don't know.
and yeah, I don't know. Then they do kind of like all the High Lords and then the humans get together. Then they do pseudo peace talks, and then they don't really resolve anything. They're like, okay, bye, see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. On the side, they decide to send the cauldron back to Miriam and Draken's secret island,
Yeah,
which like
secret tunnel,
no.
secret tunnel.
Which seems like they could have found somewhere else to like I don't know. If I was them, I'd be like, I don't really want this on my islands. Like this just seems unnecessarily risky. Like concoct some other secret. Like you could just like make another place that has these words and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Where
But
was the cauldron before?
wherever the King of Hybern found it,
Yeah, but like where, you know?
no one knows. Only he knows, and he's been
Who
decapitated.
knows? And he's fucking dead. They should
Yeah.
have brought him back from Feyre heaven to like just ask him those
Right. Well,
questions.
they
And
could be bringing back anyone. Yeah. Like I don't know. You think there's like a time window and like someone has to be
I
holding on to
guess,
you?
yeah.
It's like if I was one of those many soldiers, I'd be really fucking pissed.
One of the soldiers that drowned on Triland.
Right.
What about me?
I know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so they get back to Velaris, and what do they hear, Rachel?
the sound of children laughing.
Yes.
Oh, also Amryn. So Amryn doesn't have her power anymore. Like she's just a normal fairy now, which I hate. Like, why does Sarah keep doing this trope of like women having to like give up their power to like
Every single
whatever?
time. Every single
Not
time.
Feyre, at least.
Right, except for the fact that like Feyre in ACOMAF, it's like established that like Feyre has this like untapped, like crazy power potential, and she just never really uses it.
Yeah,
Like
she doesn't have to give it up.
all the stuff is like,
At least she gets to keep it, unlike Amryn and later Nesta.
but it's like Sarah forgot that she had it.
Yeah, well, just like she forgot about Moore's power being truth.
No, she didn't forget about that. She just didn't decide what that means yet. She's just cryptically referring
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. Keep us guessing. She has to be doing it for the bit at this point.
It's gotta be.
And Nesta's like really upset and like won't come down or
She's
whatever.
traumatized.
Elaine's like, should we help her? And Farrah's like, not right now. Like, whatever. Like, no one gives a fuck about Nesta. Elaine
They're
is
like,
like,
why is Nesta acting so weird? This is a happy time. Like, ugh, you're such a spoil sport. Every party has a pooper. That's why we
but
invited
we
you,
invited you.
Nesta Archeron.
Patsy poop.
Like,
God.
okay, Nesta just saw her father like murdered in front of her and like
Had to kill someone, which apparently doesn't affect you, Elaine. That's what I'm saying. Like, Farrah is like,
well, because
yeah.
technically Elaine didn't kill him. Technically
Oh
he
my
wasn't
God.
dead.
Still, she stabbed, whatever. Please stop using that voice. Anyway, and then we get this random pointless Reese POV, like really pointless. What was the point of this?
I don't know. He just
He's
like he's like my brothers, and then he puts his arms around
and he's also
Ezra and
like he
Cassian.
also is at one point he's like those human queens, they're sure to be a problem. And like I just really I have to give it to Sarah for her commitment to like acting like the humans are any kind of threat. Like I just can't take it seriously. Like, right? Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I mean, apparently Papa Archeron's like
That's true.
Armada did actually do
Apparently,
shit.
humans can do spells sometimes, like if they don't require your own which is pretty cool and like untapped also.
I feel like we've got to see that. I feel like we've got to see. Jurian and Vassar are definitely not done. Like they're definitely gonna have like bigger roles, I feel like, in future books. And I feel like then we're gonna get more like of the human.
Sure.
Last thing is that Feyre and Rhys decide to be like, we'll never die
They make a
without each
suicide
other.
pact. They make a literal bargain that they will die with
They
each other. They
make
make a
a
suicide
magic
pact.
suicide bargain. And they're like, there's absolutely no way this could bite us in
Unhinged.
the ass later.
Does it ever though?
Yeah.
Does it bite them?
In
The
in
baby thing?
in
Okay.
yes, because they all would have been dead and there would have been no High Lord O'Reilly. Like, what happens? The Night Court is in shambles.
Well, I mean, like that's not even backfiring. That's not even backfiring. It's like acting as intended.
Right. Okay.
Like the intent is stupid. Okay. Yeah. The end.
They're just like, the solution is just to live forever.
Which apparently they
end.
are. They're ostensibly immortal.
Even though
So.
I would just like, I wouldn't know what I would like to say is that Feyre is now shortening her life by 500 years.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. Right. Oh, what we skipped over is like when Moore is like telling Farrah she likes girls. She's like, yeah, my one true love was one of the human queens, actually the Golden Queen's ancestor, and I was so in love with her, but then like I had to leave for 3 years, and like in that time she married a man, like, and then I mourned her for 80 years or whatever. And
The
she's like,
wall went up. That's why she's like, I regretted it,
right.
but then the wall went up and I couldn't tell her.
She's like
And then
60
like,
years would have been better than nothing, but like I don't know. It just seems so ridiculous. Like I don't know. I ran about this every time, but just like the human Fae thing. Luckily, it seems like for any of the important people, when they fall in love with the human gets made immortal. But like
yeah.
that has never happened for like a man. Like you know what I mean? What do you want to bet if it does happen to more? Like that person won't get made immortal. Like Sarah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like the girls having to get something up. Anyway, all right, Allison. Where can they
Cat
find us?
scale. No.
Oh, cat scale. Right.
Cat scale.
Right.
Got a lot of cat. We got a lot of like house cat references, like cat jingling with a bell on its collar, which is funny that like that's a part of this fantasy universe. Like
Yeah, do
Feyre,
they have
I
cats?
mean that Sarah needed to specify that people have house cats and put little bells on their collars in this fantasy universe.
Everywhere. Yeah.
And it's popular enough that Feyre can make a
Cat.
reference to it.
Yes. And we have like Amryn purring. We have
Yeah, but Amryn basically like loses her cat form.
that's really sad. We also have lots of hounds. Does she lose her cat form?
I just feel like she's not as like
Also, I'm sorry, when
spicy.
Amryn turns, I don't know. When
She
Amryn
doesn't
turns,
drink blood anymore.
that's true. Neither do cats, just to be clear. Also, when Amryn turns into her like true form TM, it has wings and stuff. Like it's not even a cat.
She's a biblical angel. Just
I
like
feel like her,
vampires,
well,
just like
right.
Stephenie Meyer's vampires are
Well,
supposed
it's
to be
Mormon
biblical
angel,
angels.
Mormon angel, not biblical
Oh,
angel.
sorry.
Yeah, but like it has wings. It's not, I don't know. Which biblical angels don't. So unclear what she really is supposed to be. I don't know. Or maybe some classes do. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, 3,
Oh
2,
shit. 1,
9,
8,
7,
8 point.
6, 5,
What?
4, 3.
8.5.
Team Rocket is blasting off again.
Team
Yeah.
Rocket blasting off again.
Hey, Allison. Where can they find us?
Why do you just pause?
I didn't.
Am I expected to say hey Rachel back?
No,
Is that what you're waiting
didn't.
for?
I
Do
didn't
I
pause.
disappoint you?
I didn't. I said, "Hey, Allison, where can they find us?"
Oh, see, on my end, it was like, hey, Allison, 1, 2, 3. Where can they find us? And I was like, was she
Oh,
expecting a response? Did I fail?
call and response. No.
Apologies. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at We Read It One Night, on Twitter at We Read It Podcast. You can email us, we read it one night @gmail.com. You can leave us a rating and review wherever you're listening right this very second. And you can especially leave us a 5-star review. You can also even put a listener suggestion in that review if you're so inclined. And then you can check out our Etsy shop and our Patreon pages, which is linked in the description of this episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Godspeed, comrades.
Godspeed.